The Morning Sports Desk, available on demand on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, and WadenaRadio.com.
It is the Morning Sports Desk on a Tuesday, the 10th of September. I'm CJ, there's Corey. This is the Morning Sports Desk. Corey, we kick things off on the local side of things. Broadcast schedule, always busy, and you have a Section 5A clash tonight.
A Section 5A clash. Yeah, sure, we can call it that. The Verndale Pirates host the River-Backus Tigers tonight, non-conference volleyball action on 105.9 FM, the Superstation K106, the Superstation K106 app, and WadenaRadio.com. Verndale comes into tonight's matchup. They are 0-3 on the year. Dropping their first three matches of the season to Parker's Prairie, Staples Motley, and Bertha Hewitt. Of course, out of the Park Region Conference, New York Mills, Wadena, Deer Creek, Bertha Hewitt, and Sabika all tops in the conference at 1-0 to get this early season conference schedule started. And Henning, Pillager, Monaga, and Verndale all looking for their first conference victories of the season. Obviously, that won't come this evening because this is a non-conference matchup. Pine River-Backus is 4-3 to start the year. They opened up the season with 2 straight victories in a Rush City tournament over Rock Ridge and Chisago Lakes area, and then lost 2 in that Rush City tournament to Litchfield and Cambridge Isanti, then losing to the always good Belgrade Bruton Alrosa Jaguars, and now are off 2 straight victories over Crosby, Ironton, and Nevis. Pine River-Backus Tigers are in the Northland Conference, where Black Duck, LaPorte, and Pine River-Backus are each 1-0. Clearbrook, Gonvick, and Northome Kellier have not played a conference match yet. Nevis, Walker, Hackensack, Akeley, and Cass Lake Bena are all 0-1. And I know it feels early, CJ, to start thinking about this, but I do have the Section 5A standings in front of me, both of these teams in Section 5A. Pine River-Backus is in the east side of, in the east subsection, and as of right now, they are ranked 28th in Class A volleyball, which puts them 4th in that subsection. East Central is the top team. They're currently ranked 9th, according to the QRF. Then Mille Lacs, Swanville, and Pine River-Backus in the to round out the 4. Verndale's in the west subsection, where right now, anyway, the top team is LaPorte. But their QRF rank is 50. So a stark difference between the 9th ranked top seed in the East to the top seed right now in that West standings. We're obviously still very early. So, a quick aside, this, but the QRF is essentially can be broken down as a strength of schedule situation. And in particular, when you look at the West subsection, we're talking about teams like Sabika and Bertha Hewitt and Verndale in particular, who are in a very strong Park Region Conference. That bumps their strength of schedule up here in a real big hurry. We just haven't made it quite to that. LaPorte historically does not play a very strong schedule throughout the entire year. They're, by the way, only just 1-0 on the year also. So it's a little early to be looking at some of this, but it is fascinating to, I think, follow along throughout the year to see how things hash themselves out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in that West subsection if the playoffs were to start today, which would, of course, be absolutely insane. Verndale and Pine River-Backus tonight, again, 105.9 FM, the Superstation K106, on the Superstation K106 app, WadenaRadio.com. Excited to make it back to Verndale for the first time this fall. I don't know if you saw this, CJ, but Verndale grad and Staples Motley Cardinal golfer alum Mallory Uzelman is golfing at Southwest Minnesota State.
Okay.
She had a hole-in-one yesterday.
What?
Yeah.
No way. A hole-in-one?
She got one. I believe I mean, if it's not, she's just a freshman. So if it might have even been like the first collegiate meet of her career, or at least, it's in the first probably 5.
What a way to start out.
Which is pretty insane. So congratulations to Mallory. And then also very quickly, speaking of golf, let me tell you about my golf game yesterday. You want to hear this?
Did you just bring up that story just so you could segue into your golf?
No, it just so happens that all 3 of these things segue perfectly right into each other. So I go to Pine Ridge yesterday, and they send us off the back. I try to occasionally play 9 holes a week or something like that. So I go over to Pine Ridge. They send us off the back. Hole number 10 is a par 3. Okay. Of course, don't do any warming up. Why would you ever do that? Me being the peak athlete that I am, why just show up and let your hips and back and arms and knees loosen up as you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hit what can only be described as a perfect tee shot off this par 3. I mean, it's doing everything but actually going in the hole like Mallory Uselman is. It's lands 6 feet short of the hole probably and doesn't skip forward. It actually spins back a little bit, which is insane because that's not a thing I do. Knock down the 10-foot birdie putt. I am 1 under through 1. Are you kidding me? This cannot go. It's the perfect start. By the way, the last 3 times I've played that hole, I am 3 under on that hole. I have 3 birdies the last 3 times I played it, which is stupid. Okay, now I get to hole 11. It's a par 5. It runs along the highway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I know that on my last tee shot, when the ball gets up above the trees, it's going to come back right a little bit. I'm hitting just a little into the wind. It's kind of coming across me from like 11 to on a clock face, right? From like 11 to 5. It's kind of blowing in, kind of blowing across. The ball's going to fade on me a little bit anyway. So there's this little marsh zone that is roughly where my ball is going to land if I hit it dead straight. But I know I'm not going to hit it dead straight because my ball's going to fade and the wind's going to push it a little bit. And ideally, I'm going to end up in the middle of the fairway. Maybe it fades a little more and I end up right rough. I have no issue with any of that. What do, CJ? Put it right in the drink. So now I go up there. I know you're supposed to re-tee, but screw that. I'm not doing that. I go up there, drop a ball. I look all over. Hey, just maybe I carried it. And I didn't because I'm not that strong. I don't hit it that far. So I put a ball down. What do I do next, CJ? Top it right back into the water. So I am 1 under through 1. And now for par, I'm 270 yards away from the hole. So I have to make it in my next 2 shots to stay even. Anyway, I shot a quadruple bogey on that hole, and all dreams were dashed from that point forward.
Golf is a stupid fun game.
Just ridiculous. And then I get to 18. Par 5 down the hill, short par 5, made even shorter by going way down the hill. I hit what can only be described as my only good tee shot all day. Right down the middle, 300 yards, which sounds impressive, but it's 60 yards downhill. I hit it 205 and it rolled out 95 because that's how far down the hill it is. I've got like 155 yards to the pin. You want to guess what I do? I've got a legitimate shot at an eagle here. You want to guess what happens? I'll tell you. Chunk, 60-foot putt that rolls 10 feet by, leave the next one short, put it in for bogey. I had 155 in on a par 5, and I bogeyed it.
Double chunk, call you a chocolate chip cookie.
I hate it. I just hate it. I hate it. 1 under, and I wasn't even cocky about it. I was like, this is just awesome. I cannot believe this is happening. Immediately, the very next shot, I am done for.
The game humbles you very quickly.
Stupid golf. I can't wait to play again.
I mean, you could just be like Mallory Uselman, who got a hole-in-one. You know, you could just do that. According to the SMSUmustangs.com website, freshman Mallory Uselman recorded a hole-in-one on Monday and is currently in third place overall following round one of the 7-team battle by Bayside played at the Par 71 Bayside Golf Club at Nebraska Kearney and Wayne State, who are hosting the 2-day event. SMSU finished the round shooting 49 over 333 and is currently in fifth place and trail fourth place Northwest Missouri State by 6 strokes. Uselman carded the ace on hole 13 from 142 yards out. It is the third hole-in-one during their head coach's 21-year tenure as head coach. Uselman finished the day shooting 6 over 77, recording the ace along with 1 birdie and 9 pars. I like how the head coach gets credit for that, right?
I know.
That was also, it's the meme where someone's like, I did this. And another person goes, you did this? And then they grab the thing and then they walk away and then they just look at it and go, I did this. And that's,
I think hopefully what it is, what it's there for is that, it's to let the rest of us normies know that we're never getting a hole-in-one. This person has been a golf coach for 21 seasons at the Division II level and has only seen that many hole by good golfers. Those are good golfers. I'm never going to hit a hole-in-one, CJ, ever.
No, probably not. I mean, I want to try and help you here, but no, the dream is dead. The dream is dead.
Congratulations. I saw a video of Mallory yesterday. It wasn't of the ball going in, but her walking up to pull the ball out of the cup. And she's like super calm and collected. It's kind of following her from behind. You can see a little smirk on her face. Picks up the ball, looks at it one time, looks up at the camera, and then just goes, yeah, and throws her arms up in the air. That's so cool. I would have freaked out.
It was super cool. Congratulations to her.
Way to go.
Moving into some unfriendly territory here, Corey. The Minnesota Twins, less than 24 hours after, or a little bit more than 24 hours after Rocco Baldelli said the last 3 games were unprofessional. You guys are not doing your jobs. We need to play better. They play an LA Angels team that is just ripe to get some wins off of. And David Festa comes out, gives up 2 runs in the first inning, gives up a home run later, and the Twins lose by a score of 6-2.
Oh, so good news. They didn't play better.
No. And it's not just the fact that they lost. I mean, we've talked about before, they have some guys injured, whatever. You still have Royce Lewis and Jose Miranda, who are at this point are the team's 2 best hitters, just by default. And both of them, they're
by default, by the way.
They're lost.
This is grading on a curve.
They are lost right now. Watch either of those guys take an at-bat. They don't know what's going on up there. Like, they just go into an at-bat, and they're swinging and just hoping something happens.
Yep.
That is where we're at right now. Jose Miranda, there was a pitch he swung at. It was 0-1. He just decided, I'm swinging. How do I know he just decided I'm swinging the next pitch? Because he swung at a ball that bounced to home plate. That's how I know. That's how I know. And look, I don't want to pick on Miranda because I feel like Royce Lewis gets a lot of praise and he does deserve some criticism here. But
yes,
Miranda's not hit a home run since the All-Star break. That's not good.
Buxton's not coming back.
He says he's trying.
Correa's not coming back.
Correa said he's planning on coming back. He said yesterday, very soon. Now, of course, didn't give an actual day. But yeah,
But you know what else he's also said? He's also said he's not coming back till he's healthy. And he, after having gone through this exact same thing 1 year ago, I don't know if it's the same foot or a different foot.
It's a different one.
What I know is that he said, if this ever happens again, I will not come back until I'm completely healthy, because you can't play yourself back into health with this sort of injury, which means he is hoping he can come back. But even if he does no warm-ups, his first hard sprint to first base or his first hard cut to make a backhanded play in the hole, it's over. He's not coming back till he's healthy, which means it's September 10th. He's done. Are you counting on him coming back?
Well, and here's the thing. Even if he does come back, let's say he says he's fully healthy. Okay, well, there's some rust you got to shake off that you're going to need to do in relatively short order. And let's say he's not quite healthy, but he's like, all right, I'm the highest paid player on the team. I need to come back. I need to try and tough it out for this stretch run. Is that really going to be beneficial either? Because we saw how well Carlos Correa played last year battling the plantar fasciitis. So, like, again, you're running into that same circle. And they're a mess right now, because it's not just the fact with Royce Lewis and Jose Miranda yesterday. When Rocco Baldelli criticized them, he didn't just say we stink. He used a specific word. He called it unprofessional, right? And the thing is, like, that's not just saying we're not getting results, because baseball, you can do everything right. Just like in golf, you can feel like you do everything right and still have something go wrong. But in golf, if you're just going up there and swinging and the thing goes wrong and you go, oh, dang it, I'm not doing well. It's like, well, yeah, you're not actually trying to put a good swing out there, and you're not actually trying to do something. You're just whiffing and seeing what happens. And the thing is, when Rocco called it unprofessional, he's correct. Watch these guys take at bats. Watch them right now. They are lost at the plate. And that does go on the manager, because you got to get them ready to play. So I'm not saying he absolves blame here, but on these two guys, Royce Lewis and Jose Miranda are relatively young players still, but they are two of the more experienced hitters on this Twins lineup right now. And they're your two highest ceiling players. And those guys are lost at the plate. They're swinging at everything. Royce Lewis couldn't catch up on a fastball that was middle out, like on the middle outer half of the plate. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I don't know.
And
that's the unprofessional part, is they're not having good approaches. They're not trying to work at bats. They're just swinging up there.
And you can't hit a 1,000,000-run home run. Like, there's no one single home run that can pull this team out of this. It's a lot of things, right? It's death by 1,000 cuts right now. We ripped on Rocco, or I did the other day, for his decision to pull over, which is still ridiculous in my mind. But that's one of the cuts. That's swinging at a pitch and just trying to get the world back on a ball that 60 feet 6 inches from the pitching rubber to home plate that was thrown 58 feet, right? Like, that is just not, it's a bad look that you're trying to get all the mojo back in one swing. Now, one of the things I will say in their defense is, do you know what helps at bats be easier? What makes you look better? If you are still young, or any good baseball player ever, if you're any baseball player ever, do you want to know what helps, CJ?
What?
Having the other good players be in your lineup, guys who you are relying on to help get you over the hump and get you into the playoffs and have a successful regular season and postseason. And once again, for the 19th season in a row, Byron Buxton and Carlos Correa are not there to help bail this team out. Do you want to know what makes Royce Lewis's life a lot easier? Hitting in between Byron Buxton and Carlos Correa. And you want to know what helps Jose Miranda's life be much easier? Hitting after Carlos Correa, because they're going to walk him and give you pitches to hit because they think they can get you out, which means you're going to get a chance to rake. Those guys who are getting paid all of this money to be available for this team in the biggest moments have been notoriously and infamously and disappointingly unavailable.
It's not a good situation right now. And when you look at the wild card, let's take a look at the wild card standings here quick. The New York Yankees, Cleveland Guardians, Houston Astros, they all lead their respective divisions. When you look, by the way, how bad is the AL West? The Twins would only be a game out of the AL West right now. And as it turns out in the wild card, they are right now hanging on to that third wild card spot. They have a 3-game lead over the Boston Red Sox, the Detroit Tigers, and the Seattle Mariners. But look, the Mariners are 500 in their last 10. So are the Tigers. Red Sox 4-6, but basically Twins 3-7. And this is the point of, look at where the Twins are right now, because it is a 3-game lead and their playoff percentage is still high to make the playoffs. But with each game, it just chips down a little bit. And now the Twins have tiebreakers over the Detroit Tigers and the Seattle Mariners in the regular season head-to-head. So basically view that as a 4-game lead over the Tigers and the Mariners. But the Twins still have a 3-game series with Boston coming up next weekend that could really pull pivotal. That's the Red Sox one last kind of swinging chance to try and eat away at the wild card lead. Twins don't play the Mariners anymore. They don't play the Tigers anymore. But right now, they are in that third wild card spot. And if you look, I'm going to look up the Fangraphs playoff odds. The Twins still are the favorites, but it just feels shakier every single day, right?
18 games left in the regular season, right? They don't play any regular season games this year in October.
No, it ends on September 29th.
So there's 18 games left in the regular season. That obviously includes tonight's September 10th matchup with the Angels. That series with Boston is huge, but do you know what they have right before that? A 4-game series with Cleveland. Like, that's going to be they're in trouble. The thing they have going in their favor is there's so few games left.
Right.
And the thing that they have going in their favor is that the teams that are behind them, chasing them, haven't won a lot of games. So right. You're asking the Twins to continue to keep losing, but as long as the other teams keep losing, nothing bad is going to happen. So they have that to their advantage. But if one of these teams decides, you know what, this is for us, this is our time, and they catch just even a little bit of fire, and the Twins continue this pace of absolutely not winning any games at all, they're going to be out of the wild card by the end of the weekend. I mean, it could be by the end of the weekend they're not even in the playoffs anymore.
Yeah, and so looking at the Fangraphs playoff odds for the Minnesota Twins, they have a 78.8% chance to make the playoffs right now. The Tigers are at 9.6, the Mariners are at 8.5, and the Red Sox are at 11.4. But look at where the Guardians and Royals are at, because they've been playing better baseball the last month. The Guardians are almost a lock, and the Royals are right there behind them. And the Twins, by the way, a month ago when they were playing Texas on the 18th, and Jorge Alcala had a 4-0 lead that he came into, and the Twins lost that game, they were the favorites, according to Fangraphs, to not only make the playoffs, but to win the American League Central.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since that point, it's just felt like one tailspin after another tailspin after another. And yeah, I mean, by the end of that Boston series, there's a chance that the Twins are praying that they can play well against the Marlins and that the Orioles are basically resting their starters for the final 3 games of the season.
Let's take a look really quickly, too. Let me just run through this for you. I'll kind of hammer this out. Tigers schedule the rest of the way. They host the Rockies for 3. They host the Orioles for 3. They visit Kansas City for 3. They visit the Orioles for 3. They host the Rays for 3, and they close things out with the White Sox with a 3-game series. So that'll be helpful for them. But, I mean, that's not like the easiest schedule in the world down the stretch for them either. Now, the Mariners. What do the Mariners have the rest of the way here, CJ? They host the Padres both today and tomorrow. Then the Rangers for 4. The Yankees for 3. The Rangers for 3 more. The Astros for 3. The Athletics for 3 to close out the year. That is a fortuitous remaining schedule for the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
I mean, are the Rangers good?
No.
The Yankees are good. So they play the Rangers twice. Are the Astros good?
Yeah, I mean, good enough.
Are the Athletics good?
They've been playing better, but I mean, generally speaking, no.
What was September call-ups like for Oakland? What are September call-ups like for the White Sox this year? Just
they tell them to just stay away.
A-ball players. What are we calling up? Taking draftees from the New York Millers this year? What's happening there?
I mean, maybe at this rate. Maybe.
Shout out Austin Manival, who's going to close out the season in the White Sox organization.
Be an improvement, by the way. Oh my goodness. All right. I was going to wrap up the show by talking about something else, but we're going to save it for tomorrow because there is breaking Vikings news, Corey. Okay. According to Tom Pelissero of NFL Network, the Vikings are signing veteran defensive tackle Harrison Phillips to a 2-year contract extension worth up to $19 million, over $13 million guaranteed. He is now locked in Minnesota through this season, next season, and the year after.
Cool. Good. Welcome aboard, buddy. Thanks for hanging around.
He's not a starting caliber defensive tackle, but is he a nice 1B option? And the Vikings asked him to do too much last year. It's why his numbers weren't great, but in 2022 and for what they're asking him to do now with some help, he's a very good veteran addition for this defense. And it goes without saying again, the Vikings have the cap space to sign defensive players.
And you know what? I was actually thinking about this the other day, so it's funny that this comes up. But how many offensive linemen are on a team?
If you consider there's 5 starters and maybe 3 to 4 backups.
So it's 5 starters, right? Maybe a 6th will come in and play for a moment. But barring injury, your starting lineups on the offensive line are your 5. Your starting quarterback is your starting quarterback. Your running backs are your running backs. Your receivers are your receivers. Your linebackers are your linebackers. Your DNs, your DBs. The one spot that is maybe, you're right, is he maybe not a starting defensive tackle in this league? Yeah, maybe not. But you know what? They're probably the least important designation of a starter comes on that defensive interior line. If you are a D tackle, you are 100% playing a lot. Like no other position group in the entire NFL. In all of football, I mean, you better have 6 D tackles who can play for your team. And Harrison Phillips is one of those 6 on every team in the league. The only notable exceptions would be if you're an Aaron Donald who just gets to play.
Right.
If you're a super freak, but
you're an Ndamukong Suh. We're not taking you off the field.
Yeah, but super freaks are excluded from conversations like this because they're first ballot unanimous Hall of Famer types.
Right.
Harrison Phillips is a D tackle for every team in this league. He's one of the 4. He's one of the 5. He's one of the whatever that your team needs to play defensive tackle. And I have no issue with him being on the roster for a little while longer.
Yeah, it's going to help out. It's nice. Again, it's not going to push the Vikings over the top in anything, but it's just keeping a nice player on your defense. And the sign of good defenses is not, you obviously need star power, but every NFL team is going to have a star on a defense. Even when the Vikings were bad last year, you still had Danielle Hunter. You still had Harrison Smith. You still had a couple areas where you can go, oh, that's a good player. But
who's the star this year?
I think what?
TBD?
Yes.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
I think Dallas Turner has the potential at the end of the season to be, but the whole point is, this gets into my point, is that they're deep. They're deeper as a unit, and good defenses. The 2017 Vikings were deep. But they also had star power. They had the star power of Xavier Rhodes. They had Neil Hunter breaking out. They had Eric Hendricks, Anthony Barr, whatever. But it was the fact of Terrence Newman was a very useful player on that defense. Their third corner in Trey Waynes and their Mackenzie Alexander. There's some guys that just popped up. Anthony Harris, that would have been starters on other defenses, but were role players on other ones. And I think what's going to help the Vikings out is that they're stockpiling veteran. Again, there's not a ton of high ceiling guys, and Phillips isn't a high ceiling guy, but he's a very high floor guy. You know what you're getting, and it just helps.
Yeah.
With your defensive production, and it's what a good defense needs. So it's very cool to see that he'll be sticking around.
How old of a fella is he?
Harrison Phillips. I believe.
As you're looking that up, I want to tell you there's
he's 28 years old.
28. Yep. You'll notice in that picture that you're showing, which, by the way, you can watch along with the Morning Sports Desk on YouTube. Just search Hubbard Radio-Wadena. He's got long sleeves on.
Mm-hmm.
And it is I saw a clip of an interview with him where they were giving him a hard time because one of the things about football is that you do anything you can to show the other person how tough you are. And you don't wear sleeves ever. And Harrison Phillips was like, yeah, I wear sleeves all the time. I don't like how my arms look. So you'll notice it now. He always has sleeves on, always long sleeves underneath his jersey.
Maybe he's got some embarrassing tattoo he's trying to hide.
That could maybe be, I don't know. I didn't catch the whole clip. I was just one of those, like, you're kind of like scrolling through and you come across it and like, who's this kind of chubby white guy that people are talking to? Because who knows what NFL players look like? I didn't know. And then they showed a clip of him with the jersey on and giving him a hard time. He's like, yeah, I always wear them, man. He doesn't care about looking tough at all.
No. And as you can see in this picture, it's at US Bank Stadium, which is indoors.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So, yeah. One last thing, and this just is more of a comment, really. Kevin O'Connell on that Sunday conversation.
Yes.
Did you watch that video?
Yes, of course I did.
Perfect.
With Caleb Presley.
Yeah, the dry sense of humor Kevin O'Connell has, the very like kind of thing to any let's just say risque question or topic.
Yep.
It's perfect. He played it perfectly. He knew the assignment.
Can I tell you I want to see if you agree that my favorite part of that whole video. Okay. So it's the Sunday conversation, right? Mm-hmm. Do I need to set this up for folks who don't know?
Nah, just get to it.
Okay. The Glenny Balls reveal, just the flash to Glenny Balls and right back to the interview the very first time in the Viking whatever.
Not like a Minnesota Vikings uniform, like a full on like Nordic Viking, like he's got the horns and everything.
It just is like, here's Glenny Balls, and now we're back to it. It's the funniest reveal I think I've ever seen on that show.
Perfect. It was perfect.
If you want to see the weirdest Sunday conversation, look up his interview with Kodak Black. We cannot even come. We could play all of the Kevin O'Connell interview here if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
We could play none of the Kodak Black interview.
Yeah, no, it's not probably for what our brand is trying to be.
Not even a little, unless you think things are funny, then you'll love it.
Yeah. This has been the Morning Sports Desk for Tuesday, the 10th of September.
The Morning Sports Desk, available on demand on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, and WadenaRadio.com.